Howdy y'all, welcome back to Cam Shack Productions. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience with my Nitecore headlamps. As you can see, I pretty much own what everybody considers the best of them for backpacking and camping, at least in my opinion. Full disclosure, I have purchased two of these. I love Nitecore headlamps. I think they are the best. I think they are definitely better than others. And in doing so, Nitecore actually sent me this headlamp. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. They didn't send it to me for any money or anything. They just sent it to me to review. And it's vastly becoming, I'll talk about it here in a second. But what I really wanted to go over was, you've decided to go with the Nitecore. Now, I mean, what do? You've got so many different choices. You have no idea which one does what. What's the difference between all of these? And yes, I do pick the black and yellow ones because the yellow stands out really good. So I like to go with them. But I think these are really, really unique headlamps, and they each have a different purpose, in my opinion. You know, just like everything else, there is no Swiss Army knife. There is no one for everything. It's sometimes you got to make choices. And I just wanted to go over what the difference in these are. So this one right here is the Nitecore NU25 Ultralight. This goes for $36.95 right now on Amazon. It is a 400 lumen, 400 max lumens, and if you use it at the max lumens with everything lit up, it will last for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Everybody, I'm going to give you the runtime of each of these, but I think it is highly subjective, so don't just go off of what you see or hear. I mean, there are so many factors as far as how you use your headlamp, what makes it turn on, how often it's on, what color light you're using, how bright it is. I mean, you can't really gauge. What you need to do is just be prepared to recharge it if you need to, or have batteries if it can take batteries. So I tried to weigh this multiple times, and it would not read on my little digital scale here. Here, look, I'm going to show you guys. I can't get this to get a signal for how much it weighs. That's how light this thing is. So ultimately, when it comes down to it, I think that the NU25 Ultralight, this is by far one of the most useful headlamps. It's got the super unique rubber band design for its headband. And if you are looking for a headlamp that is not super duper bright, won't last for days on days on days, but this thing is great because it's so light, you can toss it in the top of your backpack and always have a headlamp. Or if you're like me and you want to carry a backup, this thing is well worth having. It definitely does not have all the same modes as these. It is just a standard white light. It can go from 2 beams to 1. I'll show you guys lights here in just a second. But this thing works really good. It does have a red light on it, so you can actually use it at night. This is the light that I use most of the time when I'm camping, is some sort of red light, just because it doesn't attract bugs. It does have the ability to gauge how much juice you have left inside of this thing. And this thing is super duper handy and really, really light. Again, you saw it won't register on my scale. So I don't know. All right, so the next one we have here is, this is the NU27, and this goes for $44.95. And this headlamp is quickly becoming the favorite headlamp in our house. My wife and I walk our dog every day, and we have all kinds of lights to choose. We just like to be safe while we're out there. But this thing is coming in huge. First of all, it only weighs 2 ounces. It is a 600 lumen, but this light has 4 different colors in it. It's got a white light, a warm, which is kind of that really nice tungsten, and a neutral light, which is kind of like a daylight almost. And it's got a red light, and this thing is really, really clutch. My wife and I both really love this thing. You can see that there are multiple different LEDs that are spread out across the front. So unlike most headlights where you just, or headlamps or lights where you just get that kind of circular light like you're gonna get out of this or this one just kind of spreads it out a little bit. It seems almost a little bit softer, and this one is quickly becoming the house favorite. So there is no listing for how long this light will last if you go into what they call turbo mode, which is where you use 600 lumens. They do not have a runtime listed on the website. And again, I'm not ever gonna use it in turbo mode for hours and hours. So I'm not just gonna let this thing run down and test it that way. It does have on high, which is 400 lumens, it has a 3-hour runtime according to Nitecore's website. So I think that this thing is just awesome. Again, the light beam is really nice. You have all of those different colors that you can go through. You've got the red light. You can lock all of these headlamps so that they don't turn on in your backpack for any reason. And they all charge with a USB-C, and you can get a USB-C to USB-C or an old school USB 3.0 to USB-C, but they all charge that way in all of these lights. So this one is just, I mean, I don't know, it's really cool. It has the ability to remove the head strap, and then you can clip on the little hat band, which just kind of attaches right to your hat, if I can actually do it. So then you can just clip this right onto your hat and you don't have to use the headband. I do find that it does start to weigh your hats down, kind of like the GoPro mounts that you put on there. But it's a nice little feature if you're gonna be wearing a hat all the time. And it's super, super easy to just pull this band off, clip it on, clip it back off. This light is awesome. This is probably their newest headlamp that they've come out with recently. Okay, so let's talk about the workhorse here. So this is the UT27 Pro 800. So this is an 800 lumen. It weighs 2.5 ounces. It has a white light and a warm light. So that kind of tungsten, not the full tungsten, but that kind of daylight light, and then a white light. And then it's got a red light. And at turbo, 800 lumens, this will last for 2 hours and 20 minutes according to Nitecore. Again, that's in a perfect condition. That's not cold. I mean, you guys, that's so subjective. This thing is really, really cool though, because if you are looking for something that you're going to be going out on a multi-day backpacking trip, if you're going to be doing something like the Appalachian Trail or the PCT, I mean, if you're really getting after it, this thing is great because it comes with 2 rechargeable batteries that you can charge while you have one in the headlamp. You can also use 3 AA batteries. So this thing is really, really nice. This is what I compared to like my Petzl that I've used for years or a black diamond headlight. Like this is definitely going to be your most solid go-to. It does have that little bit rounder kind of glow, unlike this one, like I was saying, that's a little bit softer and a little bit more spread out. But man, when you turn this thing to 800 lumens and you have both of those lights on, it is bright as all get out. And you know, you just have to be able to understand that this one's gonna be a little heavier. I mean, it's 0.5 of an ounce heavier than this one. So not a huge difference. But then if you start carrying the battery, you know, you've got more. But between these 2 batteries, I bet you could last about 8 days. So, you know, again, if you're doing a much longer hike, if you're going overland, if you're gonna be someplace where you're gonna be out for a long time, definitely think about this. This is more the workhorse. This is the one that every single time I go on a trip, I'm like, oh, I mean, I did force myself to take this because I wanted to review it on an actual backpack trip. But this is usually probably the one that I'm gonna throw in my backpack because I can always put this in and I can always throw in some AA batteries. It takes 3 and it just works great. So, you know, you really do. You have a lot of super cool choices. One other thing that I really like about Nitecore is with all of their headlamps anymore, they are shipping these little sacks to hold everything in. You can put all your accessories inside of there. But what's really nice about it is that it just makes a really nice soft, I mean, it's a diffuser basically that you can hang from your tent or wherever you want, and you don't get that super harsh light in your eye. I mean, it's just a really nice, let's see if I can find the buttons. It's just a really nice glow that you get. And it's not so harsh. So, you know, you could hang this in a tree or you could hang it up someplace and kind of make your own little lantern out of it. But I think that that's a super nice feature, and it does come with everything. Nitecore sends this with everything anymore. So, you know, I think it really comes down to what are you looking for? Do you want something that's going to do a little bit of everything? Do you want ultralight, or do you want the steady workhorse that you know you can always change batteries and have all the power you need? I mean, again, if you're like me or pretty much any human in the world anymore, you're probably carrying one of these anyway so that you can charge your cell phone. I had a buddy on our recent backpack trip who was always charging his watch. You know, I'm charging camera batteries and microphones and things like that, so I'm always carrying a battery bank. So do you really need this? Or do you want to just go with something like this that you can plug in? They do charge really fast. It usually takes about 2.5 hours to go from one little bar all the way up to full charge. So, you know, it just all depends on what you're looking for. Super duper light, kind of in the middle, does a little bit of everything, or their bomber workhorse that you know is going to show up and put it down every single time you need it. You know, they're nice. They're really, really nice headlamps. They're a reasonable price. Oh, did I mention the price of the UT27 Pro 800? It's $59.95, and that's with the 2 batteries. You can buy it with 1 battery, you can get it with all, I mean, there's all kinds of options. And that's why I kind of wanted to make this video, because once you start to get down to it, they do get a little bit confusing. You know, you're kind of like, what Nitecore, look at all these lights. So these are the 3 that I own. I've used them multiple times. I've used them on all kinds of trips. I'm really liking the warm light. I very rarely turn on the white lights anymore, so I'm really, really kind of digging that. And I am a huge fan. Nitecore, I think you're doing a good job. Y'all, if you're looking for something that's kind of in that more mid-price range or lower price range, but really quality, again, these have all gone on multiple day trips with me. They've been thrown around. I know people are really worried about the plastic on these. I've heard reviews of them breaking and things. On my Petzl headlamp, the whole housing on the outside is cracked because I dropped it once. And I didn't even drop it on the road. I dropped it in the dirt. It did hit a rock, but the whole housing just completely cracked. So, you know, I think if you're going to be throwing it around, you're going to have things that break. But if you're putting it in your backpack, you're wearing it, you're keeping it safe, these are all really, really, really awesome. So go check one out. If you do want to pick one of these up, I'll have a link for all of them in my description. Nitecore doesn't pay me to do this, but if you do click on those and purchase it, it does help Camp Shack Productions because I am an Amazon affiliate. So if you want to pick one of these up, go to my links down below in the description. Y'all, I really appreciate you sticking around, and good luck on choosing the right one. You can't go wrong with any of these, so just pick the one you want. Please go down, hit the like button. If you're feeling super generous, subscribe. Otherwise, I will see you all back in the next video. All right, be well, my friends.